This is the network service of the NTA.
It is the task of Ndlea to stop all this unacceptable nonsense of drug abuse, drug trafficking in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country we have. We cannot fold our arms. We can, will, and must eliminate the drug scourge.
Collaboration has always been a key factor in achieving set objectives by organizations and even nations. It is therefore not surprising that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Ndlea is advocating more collaborative efforts among African countries in order to enhance the anti-drug war. This is Ndlea Today, the program that keeps you abreast of happenings in the nation's anti-drug agency. It's good to have you join us. Our focus this week is new push by the agency to engender more collaboration among anti-drug agencies in the continent, while our spotlight is on the alert by Ndlea on the plot to introduce a new synthetic opioid into the drug markets in the country. News highlight, WADA update, executive summary, and Do You Know will complete our program for this week.
On the news highlights for this week's episode of Ndlea Today.
Ndlea made no requests by sniffer dogs in 2023 budget. Two Pakistani businessmen, blind Nigerian son arrested for cocaine skunk trafficking. Nigeria elected to host heads of African drug law enforcement agencies in 2023 as Mara holds bilateral meetings with Kenyan, Gambian, Ghanaian, and South African counterparts. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Ndlea says it has no request to buy sniffer dogs in its 2023 budget proposal, as insinuated in some reports, adding that its position on the cost of specialized dogs was in response to a question by the Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Drugs and Narcotics, Honorable Francis Ota Agbo, on the need for sniffer dogs at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Anti-Narcotics Agency, in a statement, said its Chairman Chief Executive Officer Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired CONOFR, had on Thursday, 3rd November, while defending its 2023 budget before the House of Representatives Committee on Drugs and Narcotics, explained in response to Honorable Agbo's comment that the total package of getting a specialized dog, including its training, costs an average of $15,000 to $20,000. These are dogs that are able to detect up to 70 different types of drugs and substances. This is indeed an open source information that can be verified online by anyone interested in knowing the facts about this kind of dogs. Indeed, the full package of some specialized dogs, especially those used for special protection, detection, and law enforcement in other jurisdictions, cost as much as $30,000, $50,000, $80,000, and more, depending on the type of skills and duties such would be trained to perform. In fact, Harrison Canine, an Aiken, South Carolina, US-based company, sells for as much as $230,000. This is because acquiring specialized dogs goes beyond the cost of purchase, but a total package that includes both the training of the dogs and their handlers as in a team over a period of months. It is on record that General Marwa, however, stated in his response to Honorable Agbo's comment that in addition to the fact that the agency has and uses sniffer dogs provided by the German government, it has acquired new scanners for use at the nation's airports. All of these have been largely responsible for the daily arrests and seizures made by officers and men of the agency. We remain grateful to the German government, which has not only provided the sniffer dogs currently being used by the agency and has even added more this year, but is also building a sniffer dog academy for the use of Ndlea and others in the sub-region. That is why the agency has not and did not make any request for the specialized dogs in its current budget proposal before the National Assembly. This explanation is therefore provided to contextualize the statement credited to General Marwa and clear all insinuations on the possibility of such requests for sniffer dogs in the agency's 2023 budget proposal. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (Ndlea) have arrested two Pakistani businessmen at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport (MMIA) Lagos with 8 kilograms of cocaine concealed in a public address system while attempting to board a Qatar Airways flight to Lahore, Pakistan via Doha. The two suspects, Asif Mohammed and Hussein Naveed, who hold Nigerian residence permits suspected to be fake, are frequent travelers to Nigeria under the guise of doing textile business. They were arrested on Saturday, 5th November at the Lagos airport barely a week after they came to Nigeria, that is Sunday, 30th October. Operatives at the Sako import shed of the airport on Friday, 4th November seized 13 cartons of tramadol 225mg and 200mg imported from Karachi, Pakistan. The consignment had a total weight of 465.10 kg and 642,800 pills of the pharmaceutical opioid. The previous day, Thursday, 3rd November, operatives at the narco export shed of the airport also intercepted the consignment of different illicit drugs, cannabis, cocaine, and meth, as well as tramadol 225mg and rofinol concealed in footwears and soap packs going to UAE Dubai. A 32-year-old Oladiton Sarah Olufumilayo, who presented the consignment for export, was arrested. In Katsina State, operatives on parole at Malumfashi, Zaria Road arrested the blind man Bukar Haruna and his son Saka Haruna while heading to Niger Republic with 20.5 kilograms of cannabis and 10 grams of Exol 5. They hail from Damagram area of Niger Republic. No less than 2,685.5 kilograms of cannabis were recovered in 4 different operations conducted in part of Edo State last week, while 53 bags of cannabis sativa weighing 742.5 kilograms were seized on Wednesday, 2nd November at a camp with 4 suspects, Chukwueke Igba, Solomon Peter, Emmanuel Jeremiah, and Happiness Chidi, arrested. Another raid in the house of Joy Zubaru led to her arrest with 30.5 kilograms of cannabis recovered. In the same vein, operatives on Thursday, 3rd November, stormed the Egbeta forest in Ovia Northeast while they recovered 112 bags of cannabis and 8 bags of seeds with a combined weight of 1,598.5 kilograms, while another team evacuated 27 bags of same substance weighing 340 kilograms at Amaho village in Nigweben local government area. In Mubi area of Adamawa, operatives on Tuesday, 1st November, intercepted a Toyota Corolla car transporting 9,600 pills of tramadol. A follow-up operation later led to the arrest of the owner of the consignment, Mahmouda Ramadan, aka Mullah, while another suspect, Al-Hassan Mohammed, was arrested on Sunday, 30th October along Abuja-Kaduna Express Road with 136,000 pills of tramadol concealed inside his car's spare tire. While commending the officers and men of the MMIA, Edo, Katsina, Adamawa and Kaduna commands of the agency for the successful operations in the past week, Chairman Chief Executive of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mara, retired CON OFR, urged them and their counterparts across the country not to rest on their oars until all drug syndicates operating in Nigeria are completely dismantled and the last gram of illicit substance taken out of the streets. Nigeria has been elected to host the next conference of the heads of drug law enforcement agencies, Africa, Ndlea, in 2023. This was the unanimous decision of the regional network at the close of its 2022 annual meeting in Nairobi, Kenya at the weekend. The move by other heads of anti-narcotics agencies in Africa to have Nigeria host the 2023 conference followed the country's good relationship with others on the continent and NDLEA's exemplary performance in the renewed fight against substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking. In the course of the week-long conference, Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mara, retired CON OFR, led the Nigerian delegation in presentations on every item of the agenda for discussion, where he shared the country's experience and successes so far recorded in the drug war as a result of bilateral and multilateral cooperation with other stakeholders in Nigeria and partners at both regional and international levels. On the sidelines of the conference, he also led his team in bilateral meetings with his counterparts from Kenya, Gambia, Ghana, and South Africa on areas of mutual interest such as intelligence sharing, joint operations, training, and exchange programs, among others. The bilateral meetings also agreed on the setting up of technical working groups on both sides to work on memorandums of understanding that will formalize the partnership and working relationships. Marwa had in his discussions at the bilateral meetings emphasized the need to build new and strengthen existing partnerships among anti-narcotics agencies at the sub-regional and regional levels to make trafficking of illicit drugs and movement of the drug lords difficult on the African continent.
Seamless exchange of intelligence and strengthened collaboration among African countries will help the continent surmount the daunting challenge of illicit drug trafficking and abuse. This was Nigeria's position presented by the Chairman Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, CON OFR, at the 30th Conference of Heads of Drug Law Enforcement Agencies Africa, Ndlea, in Nairobi, Kenya, a stand widely supported by other countries represented at the gathering. While briefing the meeting on the gains so far recorded by Nigeria in the fight against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking, Marwa said there is the need for all to put in place a national coordination mechanism that will ensure coordinated action against the menace. According to him, the starting point is the harnessing of all the stakeholders by the National Drug Focal Agency. Through this national coordination and collaborative efforts, Nigeria has steadily made significant efforts in tackling drug challenges, and has between January 2021 and August 2022 recorded unprecedented arrests in the region. Now, while canvassing for regional and sub-regional collaboration, the NDLEA boss said the global drug problem has placed higher demands on countries to work round the clock to achieve this goal and consolidate the achievements recorded. Countries should endeavor to establish sub-regional groups like Ndlea for strengthened collaboration under the auspices of the regional economic communities. The Ndlea boss expressed optimism that the canvassed synergy will facilitate the speedy dismantling of drug trafficking cartels across Africa through a more vibrant, holier platform. The Ndlea boss was earlier elected unanimously by the vice chairman of the conference, chaired by the host country, Kenya.
Yes, it's true. Drugs are a vice in our society, costing lives and huge economic losses. But the story is not the same because the game has changed. It's a red card for drugs in Nigeria. There is a new sheriff in town. Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa is moving hard and fast with full speed and precision to rid the country of the drug scourge. Ndlea Today is a program that gives you a front seat in understanding the highs and lows, the laws of drug enforcement in the country. Join us
every Monday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, Africa's largest TV network.
Ndlea Today. Don't miss it.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ndlea, says it has uncovered plans by some unscrupulous elements to introduce a lethal synthetic opioid, fentanyl, that is 100 times stronger than tramadol into the Nigerian market, warning that the illicitly manufactured drug is capable of causing mass casualty among the youth population being targeted by the cartels. The Anti-Narcotic Agency, in a statement on Friday, said every step must be taken to ensure that the drug, which is currently responsible for over 70% overdose deaths, as well as a major contributor to fatal and non-fatal overdoses in the US, is not allowed to circulate in Nigeria because of its lethality and the current drug abuse prevalence of 14.4% in the country. We are not unaware of desperate efforts by some drug cartels to introduce this lethal drug to the Nigerian market. Fentanyl, which according to CDC is 80 times as potent as morphine and 100 times more potent than heroin. This they plan to do either in liquid or powder form and or with misleading labels to target our youth population. This they may also mix with other prescription drugs. The illegally manufactured fentanyl in its liquid form can come in nasal sprays, eye drops, or small candies. As a result, parents and other stakeholders are advised to be vigilant, alert, and warn their young ones against attempting experimenting with this illicit substance. The agency wishes to assure the public that all necessary assets have been deployed to monitor the cartel involved in this latest threat to public health, with a view to frustrating their criminal plots and make them face the wrath of the law. The efforts of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at ensuring all the financiers of the illicit drug business face the full wrath of the law was once again rewarded last week as the agency succeeded in apprehending 2 drug kingpins that have been on its wanted list for quite a while. The 2 businessmen who have been on the run over their involvement in drug trafficking were arrested by anti-narcotic officers assigned to track them. Nebo Ikechukwu Christopher, who has been wanted for his role in the importation of 40 cartons containing cocodamol, a brand of paracetamol, with codeine, seized at the cargo wing of Murtala Mohammed International Airport since March 2022, was arrested on Thursday, November 3rd. In the same vein, operatives on the trail of an automobile parts dealer, Omeje Oliver, aka David Mark, since April, eventually arrested him on Monday, 31st October in Enugu, where he fled to after abandoning his business at Aspanda Trade Fair Complex, Lagos. He was wanted in connection with the seizure of 600 grams of heroin concealed inside soles of ladies' footwear going to Liberia on April 16th. Like we always warn every week on this segment, you risk losing everything, including your freedom, once you dabble into the drug business. Remember, a word is enough for the wise. Benue State Command delivers water sensitization lecture to students of Akwaran Oshi Polytechnic, Boko, Benue State. Kano State Command delivers water sensitization lectures at Government Girls Secondary School, Anisao, and Salem International College, Fage. Kebbi State Command delivers water sensitization lecture at Unique Progressive School, Birnin Kebbi. Niger State Command delivers water sensitization lecture at Islamic Education Thrust, IET, Mina.
Do you know?
Do you know that 1.25 million years of life has been lost to overdoses? We count our lives in years, so when researchers begin calculating the years of life lost to unintentional drug overdoses in youths, teens and young adults from 10 to 24 years, the sum total was nothing short of a staggering 1.25 million years of life completely lost. And that number only represents 4 years of data. Do you know that addiction is a disease of the brain? With all the vast information we have about drug and alcohol addiction, its impact on our culture, it seems apparent that understanding its nature can help us in treating this devastating and deadly epidemic. The one question that many ask is addiction really a disease? Well, the answer is yes. The organ that most embodies who we are is both the source of the problem and the cure for the addiction.
On the feedback segment today, Dapo Daniels from Ojuelegba, Lagos asks, can you please explain what fentanyls are and the dangers of using it? Here's your answer. Fentanyls are fake prescription pills laced with deadly fentanyl that looks exactly like Xanax, Percocet, hydrocodone, and other drugs. Many adolescents seeking anti-anxiety medications on social media accept delivery at home and never see another day of life. Fentanyls have dramatically increased worldwide, causing lots of near lethal poisoning cases and accounting for large percentage of overdose alone. Recent study shows 42% of popularly abused pills tested contain at least 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which is a potentially lethal dose. Now, Sahid Gidado from Lafayette, Nasarawa State asks, can addiction treatment successfully help people recover? Here is your answer. A recent study shows that 75% of people with addiction get better when they get help. This study applied even to those who have used hard drugs over long periods of time. Once they received the support and treatments they needed, they were able to live full and successful lives. And that's how far we can go on this episode of the program. If you have learned something from today's program, join us same time next week for a fresh edition of the program. Until then, it's bye for now.